I stood in the dim garage at 6:14 p.m., scraping dried mud from my daughter's cleats, when my phone lit up with her name. One look at the screen, and the world narrowed to a single, gut-wrenching truth. Everything I thought I knew about my family was about to shatter. My name is Ryan. I'm 42, a high school soccer coach in a quiet North Carolina town, the kind of guy who patches up scraped knees and bruised egos for a living. But nothing in my playbook prepared me for the day my own mother reached into my 16-year-old daughter's savings and stole her dream. It started 3 years earlier. Lila had been babysitting every Friday and Saturday night since she was 13, saving every crumpled bill and Venmo payment for the junior trip to Paris. She called the account Paris 2028 in all caps, like naming it made the dream untouchable. She skipped homecoming dresses, movie nights, even new sneakers. She came home smelling like popcorn and baby powder, counting her money at the kitchen table with this quiet, fierce pride that made my chest ache. "This one's mine, Dad," she'd say. "Nobody else touches it." I believed her. I believed us. But families like mine have invisible rules. Rules I'd been swallowing for years without noticing the taste. The first crack came when Lila was 13. She wanted a secondhand laptop for school essays. My mother showed up to the birthday dinner, hugged Lila like she hung the moon, then handed my sister Brooke a glittering designer bag instead. Lila smiled, that small, practiced smile kids were when they're learning not to want too loudly. Later that night, she whispered, "It's okay, Dad." I hated those 3 words more than anything. Then came my promotion to head coach. I was proud. Lila was proud. We celebrated with cheap tacos, just the 2 of us. My mother called mid-meal. "That's wonderful, Ryan. So you'll help with Brooke's engagement party, right? She deserves something nice." I glanced across the table. Lila's shoulders tightened. Just a fraction, but I caught it. Weather check. I told my mother I'd see what I could do. Lila went back to dipping her chip like nothing happened. I told myself it was normal. Family stuff. Then came the night everything broke. Lila walked into my room with red-rimmed eyes that had already cried the loud part somewhere else. She held out her phone. The teen account balance, $378. The $4,200 she'd earned over 3 brutal years gone. Withdrawn as a cashier's check 2 days earlier. "Grandma took it," she whispered, voice cracking like thin ice. The teller said an authorized adult. "Grandma." I felt the floor tilt. My mother, Linda, 68, retired, church smile, "I'm just trying to help," cruelty, had used the emergency access I'd stupidly left on the account in case something happened. Apparently, Brooke's wedding venue deposit counted as an emergency. Lila's shoulders shook with those awful, ashamed sobs that try to make a body smaller so the pain fits. I babysat every weekend. I didn't buy anything. I'll never get to go now. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I just said, "Get your shoes. We're going to Grandma's." The drive was silent except for the rain on the windshield. When my mother opened her door, porch light glowing like a cheap stage, she beamed. "Ryan, and my sweet Lila." I held up the bank app. Her smile didn't even flicker. "Oh, that. I borrowed it for your sister's wedding deposit. She's 16. She has time. Brooke's wedding is once in a lifetime." Lila made a small broken sound behind me. That was the moment the pattern finally snapped into focus. Every favor, every time I'd stayed quiet to keep the peace, every time Lila had learned to shrink herself in that house, it all led here. I kept my voice steady, but inside I was screaming. "You took her money without asking. Money she earned." My mother sighed like I was being dramatic. "Family helps family, Ryan. Don't make a scene in front of her." But I was done protecting the scene. I started recording. Calmly. "Say it again, for the record. You withdrew $4,200 from my minor daughter's account without permission and used it for Brooke's wedding." Her mask slipped. "Stop that right now." I didn't. I asked for proof the money went where she claimed. She refused. I asked where the receipt was. She told me I was interrogating her in her own home. We left. Lila stared at her knees the whole ride back, rubbing the seam of her jeans like she could erase the day. That night, I opened a folder on my laptop. Lila/Paris. I saved every screenshot, every babysitting log, every deposit. Then I made a call I'd been quietly preparing for months without anyone knowing. 3 months earlier, When Brooke had been stressing about money and my mother had been calling daily, I'd done what I always did. I fixed it behind the scenes. I found the dream venue from Brooke's Pinterest board, put down $31,000 of my own money in my name, and signed a contract. Not for them, for peace. So Lila wouldn't have to hear the fighting. Now that contract was my leverage. The next morning I canceled it. Full refund minus $500, $30, $500 coming back to me. I forwarded the confirmation, printed it, and drove Lila to my attorney. Marisol read the babysitting logs, the bank statements, the withdrawal slip with my mother's name. She looked at Lila gently. "You're not in trouble, sweetheart. You're the victim here." Lila blinked hard at that word. We sent a formal demand letter. Return the $4,200 in 72 hours, or we file civil and criminal complaints for theft of a minor's funds. I delivered it myself. My mother's face finally cracked when she read it. "You wouldn't," she hissed. "I already did." She begged me not to ruin Brooke's wedding. I smiled slowly, the first real smile I'd felt in days. "You're right," I said. "A wedding is once in a lifetime, so your daughter should be able to afford hers without stealing from mine." I showed her the cancellation email. Her eyes widened in pure panic. "You paid for the venue? You can't do this." I met her gaze. "Watch me." As I walked back to the car, her phone started ringing frantically inside. Brooke, no doubt, just learning her perfect day, had vanished. Lila looked up at me from the passenger seat, eyes searching my face like always. I handed her my phone so she could read the refund confirmation. Her breath caught. Tears spilled, but this time they were different. I didn't fix it for revenge. I didn't do it to punish them. I did it because for 16 years my daughter had been learning that her dreams were negotiable, and I finally refused to let that lesson continue. The money will be returned. The trip is happening. But the family I thought I had, that's gone. And I'm not sorry. If this had been your child, watching her grandmother steal the future she worked so hard for, would you have stayed quiet to keep the peace? Or would you have burned the whole thing down to protect what's yours? Drop your answer below. I read every single one, because some betrayals don't deserve forgiveness. They deserve boundaries.